It really bothers my kids when I start planning the next school year, like 3 days after this school year.
Hey everyone, this is Yvette Hampton. Welcome back to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast. Abby and I are back today to conclude our conversation about summertime because it's summertime. The school year is over and I hope you guys have had an amazing school year. I hope that the Lord has done many great things. I'm certain that there have been struggles along the way because we all have faced those, but I am so excited to just see what the Lord has in store for you, for us, for all of us throughout this next summer and then leading into the next school year. Because one of the greatest parts of summertime is being able to prepare for the upcoming school year, just having a time to reset, to rest, to just clear your brain, sit out in the sunshine, get some vitamin D, sit out by a swimming pool if you can find one, or a lake or the ocean. Wherever, and just have some time to regroup with your family, with your husband, and with yourself. Maybe even mom, maybe you can even take a couple of days off by yourself and just have some time with the Lord, have some time to rest, have some time to pray, have some time to plan. I used to do that years ago when we were back in California. Every summer, I would actually take a weekend away. We had some friends who worked at a Christian camp, and they would allow me to go up there and they had a pastor's retreat up there, but they would open it up to other people as well. And so when it wasn't being used, if there was a weekend that there was a room open, they would allow me to go up there. And I did that for, I think, 3 years in a row. And it was amazing because I got to just have some quiet time all by myself. And it was great. It was such a great time to reset everything. So look forward to that this summer. Maybe if you can, even swap kids with a friend and maybe she can take a weekend and you can take a weekend and just have some time to regroup and think through what the Lord would have for you and your family this next year. So that's one of the greatest benefits, right, Abby, of summertime.
Yeah, it's a huge benefit. And I think what's so awesome about being homeschool moms is so many families, if their kids are gone all year in school, they all of a sudden get their kids home in the summer. And they have to relearn who their kids are. They have to reestablish rules in their home. They have to reestablish expectations. And I feel like they spend, half the summer doing that. And then the second half is preparing to go back. And we are so blessed as homeschool families to just be able to use our summer in such a unique way because we're with our kids all the time. And so now we can continue to be blessed in being with our kids, but in a new season, in a new way in the summer. And I haven't said this before, but I would say one of the number one things I would suggest to families is go screen free this summer. Have everybody put away their screens. I think summer, it is so tempting to just hand the kids a screen all summer to keep them quiet, keep them still, keep them from not getting bored. And I want to tell you, don't fall into that trap. When your kids start getting bored, do not hand them a screen. When you need to get things done, don't hand them a screen. And if you really do feel like that's something that you want to incorporate, then limit it to a half hour a day. And I would say, don't do more. It's not good for your kids' brains. All the studies show, don't do more than that, and make it educational. Something my kids love to do with screens is they get that iMovie app, whatever that is, and they go out and they film the most hilarious movies, just the three of them together. It's so funny. Or maybe they'll get some friends. And then we all watch them together. So if you're going to do the screen thing, do it intentionally. And also be an example to your kids. Put the screen down this summer and be present with your kids. Don't think that just because you're not quote unquote schooling and that you're not doing the academic part that your job is done, you will miss out on so many incredible opportunities this summer if you remain plugged in. So get off the screen, moms. Get your kids off the screens this summer, and go do what Yvette said. Get out, have a reboot. I love that. Take some time to yourself, and if you can't do a weekend away, do an afternoon. Like you said, swap kids. Go get a cup of coffee, and just spend some quiet time regrouping. That's so awesome. So
I have another suggestion too. One of the greatest things that you can do in the summertime is listen to audiobooks. Because sometimes, we can do that throughout the school year. My girls do some, but summertime is a fantastic time to really dig into audiobooks or a whole series. I'm again reading to my youngest daughter, Little House on the Prairie. I love the Little House series. I'm reading the whole series to her. But I've read them to my girls. We actually listened as a family to the audio books as we were traveling, because we traveled for quite a long time. And so we listened to the entire series, and now I'm reading them again, the actual paper books, to my youngest. And it's just a great time to listen to a book series. You can listen to The Green Ember. You can listen to audio dramas. We've done an episode on the Brinkman Adventures.
Yeah.
Those are fantastic.
Yes.
Adventures in Odyssey is another great one. Things that are going to build your kids' character and build their relationship with the Lord, because there are so many fantastic ones that really do help point them to Jesus.
Yeah.
And so it's a win-win, because then they can listen to audiobooks. It gives them something to do, give them something to do during that time, whether it is
unloading the dishwasher.
Right. Unloading the dishwasher. I was thinking of like crafts. Abby, come on. I'm just kidding. Yes, but even while they're doing chores, whether they're doing laundry or dishes or cooking, but also while they're doing something creative with their hands. Yes. And it could be something as simple, even she might not appreciate me saying this, but even my 15-year-old still sometimes enjoys playing with clay and Play-Doh and things like that, because they can be so creative and build things with it. You know, she doesn't do it every day.
She's artistic. That's why she likes to do that. She's
right. Exactly. Legos. They can paint. They can draw. There are a million different things they can do. My youngest just got from someone, she just got a bunch of rubber stamps. This lady had a bunch of rubber stamps that she didn't need anymore. So she got like 100 rubber stamps. Oh my goodness. And so she get a couple of cheap stamp pads and have them make cards that they can send to grandma or to relatives who maybe live out of town. There are so many things that kids can do. Yep. And you put an audiobook with it and it just makes it that much more fun.
It's the best. And I'm going to say this, or take it outside, listen to it on an iPad and get outside, get the fresh air, the vitamin D, go up in your tree fort or on the hammock or under a tree and listen to them out there. And that kind of leads us into, don't stop reading, don't stop learning. It's not like learning is 9 months out of the year and summer we don't learn. And so there are so many other things to carry that learning. One, like you said, read the books that so often during the school year, we have school books. And by the end of the day, kids feel like there's not time for free reading, which I always suggest, always make time for free reading. But summer is a great time to pick up that book you've been wanting to, or grow a garden together. And there's your botany lesson. You know how much kids are going to learn doing that they aren't really learning, they're not realizing they're doing school. Another fun thing is teach them map skills. Summer's a great time to do that. My kids love to. We get in the car and we hand them a map, and I'm not talking about your phone. I'm talking about a real map. It's like open-ended driving is what we do. And they say, turn right here. This is the name of this street. Turn left here. Go over, and kids will learn more about mapping just doing that than they will on any course they're going to learn. So that's a really fun summer thing to do. Pack a picnic and do open-ended drives with their map. Another fun, you talked about game schooling earlier.
Yeah.
That is a really fun way to keep learning going through the summer, but in a new, unique way. Another thing that we've done that's really fun, two things. One, send out invitations for all the neighborhood friends and have them each come ready to learn and ready to teach something new to the group of kids. So maybe not, for example, my son, he loves to tie knots. So he could maybe come and teach the group of kids how to tie knots, and every kid will come. So it's like an intentional play date. So kids aren't just doing nothing or, getting bored or expecting you to entertain them. They're actually learning a skill and then they're teaching it to their friends. And so sometimes just do an afternoon of that and maybe do that twice a month or something. And that's also a way to reach out to your neighborhood kids. One thing that I'll tell you one other thing first. So another fun thing to do for learning, keeping learning going, is get out all the science experiments that you didn't do that year. Like Apologia comes with this huge science experiment kit and we don't get to them all. So sometimes in the summer, I just give them the box with all the experiments. Nice. And I give them the book and I go figure it out. And I would say keep a fire extinguisher on hand. And but that's just such a fun way for them to learn in such a unique, fun way. But back to having neighborhood kids over, we have the privilege, moms, that we are home all summer. And in the summer, there's a lot of kids that are home without parents, a lot. And because their parents are still working, parents don't get summer break off. And it is an incredible opportunity to minister to those neighborhood kids. And we always make sure we have, popsicles on hand and a blanket on the front yard with books or games, or we always, and honestly, we do it, do it in the front yard because you might not want every neighborhood kid, in your house. But it's an incredible opportunity to serve your neighborhood, to build relationships with kids, to share truth, an opportunity to share the gospel with these kids. And so think outside the box in your summer. Don't be self-focused as what do we want this summer, but use it as an opportunity, to share the gospel with your neighborhood kids, to be a safe place, to be that house that there's a mom home, So those are all, those are ways to keep learning going through the summer and to expand from just your home out into the community.
Yeah, I love that. And that is really, truly taking God's word to heart and showing hospitality to those around us.
Right.
We used to do that at a house that we lived in many years ago. We lived in a neighborhood where there were lots and lots of kids, and they would come over to our house, and we always had a box of corn dogs in our freezer because they would come over, and it would be, sometimes 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and they had not had anything to eat because these were public school kids and they always ate breakfast and lunch at school. So during the summertime or on their days off, if they weren't getting fed by the school,
right,
they didn't eat. And it's not like they were starving. They weren't homeless or poor. They just didn't eat. It was the most bizarre thing. And so we quickly learned that we could give them corn dogs. They were happy. They would stay. And we got to tell them about Jesus. And so we took one year, I think like 9 neighborhood kids to VBS at our church. And it was just amazing. And it was an amazing ministry to be able to reach out to these kids who's, like you said, their parents were working.
Right.
And they were pretty young. I mean, there was one family I think the oldest was like 12, and she stayed home with her younger siblings while her parents worked. And so they were at our house a lot.
And that's a ministry to those moms too, that are working.
Absolutely.
I mean, it goes beyond those kids. Those moms know there's a safe place. Yeah. And then it often opens up conversations with those moms because you've built relationships through their kids.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
That's great. And we don't always do that during the school year because those kids are at school and we don't have those opportunities, but use your summer to do that. Yep. And then lastly, for your summer to make it, unique. Okay. Well, actually, let's take a break. Before we go in.
Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Are you looking for a fantastic online math program that removes the burden of teaching math? Then Teaching Textbooks is for you. Our family's been using Teaching Textbooks for years, and we couldn't be happier. Our girls say that it makes learning math fun, like a game, and they love that it's interactive. Teaching Textbooks uses step-by-step video instruction and does all the grading for you. The newest version is available now with an app that even works offline. Sign up for the first 15 lessons for free at teachingtextbooks.com. That's teachingtextbooks.com. Okay. We are back talking about summertime and all the blessings of summertime and how we can use this best to serve the Lord and impact his kingdom. Yes. So Aby, what did you had a thought before we went to break?
Yeah. So kind of the last thing, we've talked about all the things this summer to make it. So if you're a list maker, here we go. Work, put your kids to work. And that doesn't mean they have to have a job outside the home, but it could mean that they're learning a new skill in the home to contribute to the household, laundry, cooking, those sort of things. Serve outside of your home, serve the neighborhood, serve the nursing home down the street where you read, serve in a way that we are furthering the gospel, that we're doing kingdom work. And what else did we talk about? We talked about keeping the learning going, being able to continue to learn through the summer, fun, exciting new ways to learn, building community. And then one of the last ones, and I always push this if you know me, is adventure. Get outside and adventure. And summer is a great time to do that because the weather is great for that. We have the time to do it. Some things that we've done is set up weekly summer adventure days with friends, which means, and this doesn't have to mean you're adventuring like you're going on hikes. That might be what we do, or, go jump into the lake or find a new lake or a swimming hole. But it could just mean adventure, like find a new museum each week that you've never been to, or a new ice cream shop. That's an adventure, but just do something, go to the summer symphony, find live music that's playing, find a new pond to throw rocks in, but just something new every week. So you don't get into that mundane, we're so bored. We're doing the same thing every week. Really be intentional to find something new to explore wherever you are. You can do that in New York City. You can do that in the middle of Alaska, but just do something fun and adventurous and new each week.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I want to go back to something that we were talking about just a little while ago. We were talking about using the summer to plan for the next year. I want to kind of park on that for just a little bit and talk about how moms can do that. And I mean, this could be an entire episode, but I want to give just a few pointers for moms for using the summertime to be able to plan for the upcoming year. And so there are lots of practical ways to do that. And we have talked about that many times. Of course, you always want to start with prayer, just give it to the Lord, surrender this next school year to him and ask him, what do you want from our family for this next year? Right. And as always, you have to start with the end in mind. You have to figure out like, where do we want to be at the end of the year and then work backwards from there. Because if you don't know where you're going,
totally.
It's going to be kind of a mess trying to get there. And so you need to look at the end of your year. And of course, you can scope out, the end of this next year and then all the way to the end of their schooling in your home. Where really ultimately do you want them to be? And of course, ultimately, we want our kids to love Jesus. But how are you going to accomplish that goal? And so start there and then work backwards and figure out, look at different curriculum options, visit with friends. This is a great time during the school year when you don't have the pressure of the curriculum that you're using and feeling like you need to get through it. This is a great time to go to homeschool conventions. Of course, if you have one in your area that you can attend, by all means, go to a convention this year. That is one of the greatest things you can do. I know, Abby, you have one coming up for Homeschool Idaho, right?
We have a live one. You guys have a live one. Ours is the first week in June. I mean, I think a lot of states
are
opening up and they're doing in-person conventions.
Yes,
so
which is amazing.
And go.
Right. And there are lots of in-person ones now again this year. Praise the Lord for that. And there are also some online ones. So if you're in an area that does not have a in-person conference, go to attend an online conference to get that encouragement. But aside from that, if you can't go to one and you can't actually look at physical curriculum, call up some of your friends who are local and just say, hey, what do you use for history? What are you using for science and for math? And we did this. I know we've talked about this before, but in Georgia, one of the homeschool groups there, they actually had a day and they said, okay, everyone meet at the park at this time. Everyone bring whatever curriculum you want to share. And so they had a bunch of picnic tables at the park and all the moms just brought all of their curriculum that they wanted to share. And it was fantastic because then all of the moms got to go around and kind of shop.
I love
what other people were using. And then you got to talk to that mom about it and say, hey, well, what do you like about this? And what don't you like about this? And why do you use this particular curriculum for this subject? And there were a few things I was like, oh, I've never even heard of this curriculum, but it's fantastic. Looks like it will work really well for our family. And then talk with your family, talk with your husband, talk with your kids, figure out what's going to work best for your family. Maybe plan out your schedule, plan out your activities. And when I say plan, I don't mean plan, day one, we're going to do lessons, 1 through 3 in this particular book. Don't do that. You will end up stressing yourself out and you're going to feel like a failure because 2 days into your homeschool, you're going to
totally. You just have a general direction that you're going. Correct.
Right. But yeah, summertime is great.
Say too, one thing we do is, the first thing I'd say, don't do this right now. Take a few weeks, take a month and just decompress. Yes. Do not, the day you shut this year's book, start planning for tomorrow or for next year. You've got to have time to clear your head. Yep. What you can do right away though, is write down what worked and what didn't, because it's fresh right now. It's fresh. Here's what worked. Here's what didn't work. And then put it away. I mean, I actually physically put all of our school books and everything away for about a month just to get it out of my head, to just fully let it. I need to have that decompress time. Yeah. Then when I get it out, it's fresh and I'm actually excited about it. I'm not sick of looking at it. And the other thing I say to moms a lot is, once you've written down what works and what doesn't, don't go back to the things that work. If you have found something that works for your family and it works well and it's flowing for you guys, don't get distracted by the shiny things that other people are doing. You're going to stress yourself out. Yeah. If it works, if you have a math that everybody is just thriving in and it works for your family, don't go look at other math curriculums. You don't need to. There's too many other things. So just find the things that aren't working and then go check out what the other options are. Otherwise, it's just going to overwhelm you. You cannot redo every year. So if it's working, let it work. Don't reinvent the wheel. If it's not working, then give it a rest, take a few weeks, and then start revisiting other options so that you come at it with a new perspective. The other thing I've noticed is it really bothers my kids when I start planning the next school year, like 3 days after this school year. They are like, can we have a break? So even them seeing me do it. So just take a month, moms, and go just rest and relax and do something, go for a bike ride. Don't just start into next year already.
Yeah. I love it. All right. Well, this has been fun.
I'm been so fun.
To see, and we would love to know what you guys are doing this summer. And I said this, this is so great, Aby. I don't know if I told you about this. I actually said several weeks ago, I said, if anybody's traveling through the Tulsa, Oklahoma area, let us know. We would love to meet you. And so I got an email a few weeks ago from a family who's traveling through Tulsa.
I heard you say that on here?
She heard me say that. She's like, you said it on the podcast and we'd love to meet you. And so they're coming, they're actually going to the conference that I'm speaking at this weekend. And then they're coming to our house the following day and we're going to hang out with them for a day. And so I actually mean that. If you're traveling through Tulsa or if you can detour through Tulsa, we would love to meet you. And we have, plenty of space here, or we can make plenty of space, I should say. We don't have a very big house, but we have floors. People can sleep on floors.
Totally.
But we would love to meet you, even if it's just for dinner or breakfast or whatever. We would absolutely love that. So let us know. Send us an email, podcast@schoolhouserocked.com. And we would love to get to know you and your family if you are coming this direction through this
I love that.
time.
I had someone reach out to me and said, hey, we're going to be at the Idaho convention in June. Can we meet? So again, you could come to my town, but nobody goes through our town. We're way off the beaten path. So if you're at the Homeschool Idaho convention in June in Boise, Idaho, or Nampa, Idaho, find me. I would love to see you. I will be there.
Yeah, so much fun. So lots of great things. You guys, thank you so much again for listening. We tell you this, and I mean it. We pray for you, our listeners, all the time, and just pray that this ministry would be a blessing to you and that the Lord would bless you and guide you on this journey of homeschooling. We genuinely do pray for you. So if there are things that we can be praying about specifically, send us an email, podcast@schoolhouserocked.com, and let us know. Sometimes people send messages through Facebook, and for some reason they don't come to me and they get lost. And then oftentimes I'll see them like weeks or even months later. I'm like, I never saw that message. I'm so sorry. Those don't come to my inbox. So send me an email. And I'm much better at responding to emails than I am Facebook messages. Also, we would love it if you would just pray about the possibility of helping to support the Schoolhouse Rocked ministry. We are a ministry that is fully supported by our sponsors and our listeners. And God has been good to provide for us. But in order to keep this ministry going and keep doing what we're doing, we always are in need of financial support. So if you would pray about that and consider giving, we are on a mission to get as many kids out of the public school system as possible and call parents to bringing their kids home and making the difference that they can make as parents and pointing their kids towards Christ, because that is what matters. And so if you believe in this ministry, if the Lord prompts your heart to do so, go to schoolhouserocked.com and scroll down a little bit. You'll see a button that says donate here, and you can make a tax-deductible donation through the website. So that is a huge blessing to us. That really, really, really does help us to keep this ministry going and doing what we're doing. So we love you guys. Thank you again for your support. Thank you for your prayers and your encouragement that you continue to send. And we will be back next week with another fantastic guest. Thanks, Aby.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys next week. Bye.